And so this is the next one. And I'm adamant to get it right. So they're going to speak about destination-led growth, mapping leisure and lifestyle demand across Africa's region. Now listen to this. Kevin, I can get. Kevin Teeroovengadum.
Well,
good enough. A round of applause, please, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Kevin.
That has been my intro for the last 25 years, anyway. So great. So I'd like to invite my two panelists, Ritvika, Sethi, and Tony as well, please. You okay?
Yeah.
And then wait, I'm there, here. We'll give you space.
Chosen. Too late. Thank you. I think we're having fantastic sessions this morning. In fact, yesterday I was a bit worried, obviously, after last night's party. It's always very difficult for people to wake up on the last day, but it's good to see very good sessions this morning, and also yourselves being present. So we've got our two panelists, Ritvika, who obviously, I mean, you're from Ennismore, and we've only got 20 minutes, so there are so many questions, and even yesterday, when we met for the first time, the three of us, and honestly, as a moderator, I could just leave the two to talk. They had so much to share. Ritvika, I'll start with you. Obviously, coming from Ennismore, I think, you know, we see all these hotel brands, right, international brands, with different segmentation from mid-scale, low-scale, upper-scale, etc. Can you just give us a flavor of, you know, the positioning of Ennismore before we actually go into the more sort of interesting questions?
Sure. Thanks, Kevin. First, I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be here. Cape Town is beautiful. It's an honor to be here to represent Ennismore. It's a lovely question because, as you know, we are part of the Accor Group. We're proud to be part of the Accor Group. But Ennismore was founded a couple of years ago. And the reason they segregated the lifestyle brands to put it under Ennismore is because Accor's structure today runs with the luxury, premium, economy, mid-scale segments. And none of the lifestyle brands really have, let's say, the taste to be put into those categories because these are founder-led brands, right? And we wanted to give these founders who built these brands the advantage of a position that's separate from the traditional hospitality segmentation. So to give you an example, some of the higher tier brands today, the SLS, Delano, Banyan Tree, Glen Eagles, these are the brands that are categorized in the luxury segment, but also between design. Right? One of the founding pillars of Ennismore or lifestyle products is that we want to see what kind of design, whether you're bold design, are you refined design. So we prefer to communicate our segmentation between everyday brands, neighborhood brands, which would be Mama Shelter, Hyde, 25 Hours. And then you have a little bit more top tier, but bold, eclectic design versus refined resort design. And that's really where in the segment space that we're set in.
Thank you. And Tony, maybe as an intro, Technogym, for those who haven't seen.
So many will know Technogym in the hospitality market is quite well established, but I think what people don't always understand is that Technogym is more than an equipment company, and so is wellness more than a facility or an amenity. The opportunity is around the journey, around the connection. And I mean, to your point, in fact, if you look at segmentation, wellness in its own right is a kind of a segmentation. So if you're looking at luxury or design, or even eco, if in that kind of thing, wellness is a layer and a lens that also needs to be understood there. So I think, you know, the one thing that Technogym does well is it understands that ecosystem and how to also connect with the journey of the customer, putting them in the middle. I mean, personalization is really the key of all of this travel, personalization and experiences. So it's another way of looking at a lens for connection, for ROI, for business.
Thanks. Ritvika, if we look at the leisure and lifestyle demand, right, 30, 40 years ago, when somebody from the continent used to travel, or somebody from Europe or elsewhere used to travel for leisure, it used to be once every 2 or 3 years, right? It was a big thing, right? So if you come from a suburb and you travel, you will have lots of pictures, you will probably have a dinner and you'll show to the people you've been, etc. And then the last 30 years, we've democratized leisure, right? Traveling. Would love to hear from your perspective, from your brand's perspective, what are you seeing the latest trends in terms of leisure, more so the fact that you are on the continent, right?
Yeah. So happy to take that because I think with leisure comes lifestyle in our segmentation. And that's changed a lot. So today people are looking a lot more at places to be and places to be seen. And also all our brands are very culturally rooted to the founder's vision. So none of our brands were really built in boardrooms or strategic decisions to expand or innovate. These were brands that were put together from real founders who came up with a brand for passion. And when these brands go out in the market, the consumer really sees the difference that we're offering. So today, the 3 pillars that lifestyle created its story around is honestly food and beverage. Because no matter where you go, I think the food and beverage of a hotel or a destination really brings in the real value of the community, of the neighborhood, which is why we love calling them neighborhood brands. The other thing is design. So today, no one really looking to travel for leisure wants to stay in let's say, a big box with gray walls. They want to be in eclectic rooms, or they want to be in places where there's a story. So, for example, you come to Cape Town, you see the lovely people, you see the lovely food, but I want to be able to feel that hospitality in the hotel I'm staying at. So I want to make sure the design that I'm bringing in is culturally appropriate and speaks to the true destination that I am in. The other point I want to make is a lot of hotels focus a lot on the room revenue, right? And today there's this trend of going to a hotel and experiencing not just the rooms, but the F&B, the wellness, the fitness, the overall experience from 6 a.m. in the morning to what you have curated for me, whether it's a beach or a breakfast by the ocean, and then which point steps do I have wellness to account for? Where can I go hang out in my room? Where are my Instagrammable pictures? And what tours you're curating from that leisure destination. For example, for me, I'm here for a conference, but I am taking both my weekends on either end to make sure I experience Cape Town. But I'm staying in the middle of my week at Cape Grace at Fairmont. And it's a beautiful example of combining luxury hospitality with a little bit of leisure, but keeping in mind that my location speaks volumes to where that traveler can stay and combine leisure and business.
And on that, I mean, to take you up on that, as you've explained, Ennismore obviously being part of the bigger core group, etc., but founder-created and founder-led still involved, the founder is still involved, which goes back to the 2 previous sessions that we've listened. I mean, the soul. Can you just unpack that for us?
I was hoping you'd bring that up. So we have one of our brands called Our Habitas. It's in Namibia, and we're looking to grow, hopefully, in the continent as well with that brand. And the theme of that brand is actually luxury for the soul. And the idea being, and this is not just Our Habitats, but Mama's Shelter, for example, which we have opening soon in Cape Town. The idea of this brand is, for example, if I focus on Mama's Shelter, Mama loves you. This is Grandmama's kitchen. Come dine with us. Come live with us. And let us show you that true hospitality. And the reason I come back to Mama's Shelter is because it could be a soft brand. It is very conducive to the destination, but we're very particular on how we want to grow the brand. And it's the same for Our Habitats. So today, if there was a safari option or something that was a little bit more specific for where luxury for the soul develops from the spiritual appearance of the region, of the location, the taste, the farm-to-table food, the walking bare feet on grass and arriving in my room, and the sense of luxury in isolation, but part of a larger community, where there are local tour activities from tour guides, from the city, nothing to do with the brand, but we partner a lot with the community. We partner a lot with the neighborhood, and we make sure that our hotels are not just for the guests that are staying with us, but for the community that comes in and brings in that F&B, the vibe, the culture, and the story.
So then, as you're expanding on the continent, and on the previous panel as well, I think our dear friend here said there's that one Africa, but it's not one Africa because each country very different cultures, etc. So would you be able to customize your offering so that your client who's going to your property in Egypt versus South Africa versus maybe tomorrow might be in Côte d'Ivoire, whatever it is, would you be able to customize so that they feel that local?
100%. Yeah. So the idea is a lifestyle brand in the Ennismore world is founder-led, which means the vision and the core of the brand remains founder-led, but it's extremely adaptable to the location, which is why we call ourselves neighborhood-friendly. To give you a very quick example, the 25-hour brand, which today doesn't exist on the continent, but we're hoping to bring it in, is extremely conducive to co-working, but can be a leisure brand, and is exceptionally popular in the F&B space. So, for example, if we were to bring in the local Afrikaans cuisine and to bring in a little bit more flavor and taste, it would be built around the community that it grows. And that's actually one of the very good examples that showcases our abilities.
Fantastic. No, yeah. Fantastic. Really, really great. Tony, when we think about, I think we saw a couple of slides earlier about the opportunities in terms of wellness, what it is really about. But very often, when we speak about wellness in hospitality, we think about those ugly, big, black equipments, treadmills, and dumbbells that never work, that's never been serviced for the last 20 years, etc. Right? Surely that's evolved, right?
Well, we're wanting to be evolved more, but yeah, I think the really key point here is that historically we saw it from 10, 15 years ago that property started to put facilities in. And because it added a cost to serve, like the internet in the beginning, you could almost charge for it. Now it's another cost to serve. You have to have it as a seat at the table. That in many cases, people are just trying to tick the box. And I think this is really the big shift. We're seeing it specifically post-pandemic, that the kind of like more wellness always on is a big point. Health has become and is recognized as the top priority. If just on the US market, you look at it, 85% of people consider it the top priority. So what we're looking at is an authentic travel, and I think what we're talking about the brands, exactly. they're not indistinct from the person. They're not mutually exclusive. You don't have different people. The people they're eco-sensitive. They are experience-orientated. They want connection. And so many of our people now are, as hotel operators, we missed the opportunity that wellness is a lens, and there's two main travelers. All right. So firstly, the wellness economy. I don't think people understand how big it is. In 2023, it was 6.2 trillion. At that point, the whole of the hospitality industry was only 4.8 trillion. The IT was 5 trillion. By 2028, it'll be almost 10 trillion, which is the total healthcare market currently. What you see is in wellness tourism, it's 20% of all travel. In 2023, it's going to add another 1.5 trillion, came from 400 billion by 2025, 26. So the market is maybe not understanding. It's a little bit like AI and other things that have come in, how to really enable and to adapt to this lens. You've got two types of travelers who are traveling for the experience. They're looking for it, they're seeking it out, and you've got travelers who are already living the experience. So travel should also be kind of a better home from home. So the same benefits, the same things that you're looking for. So now we really have to understand that opportunity is to turn it from a facility or cost to serve, tick the box. In fact, many companies even put in beautiful gyms now, but don't put them on the website. You don't even see it. They don't realize that for other travelers it means a lot. So how do you use it there? But then how do you engage people on journeys before the travel, during the travel, and after the travel through this connected wellness experience, and they can live well beyond it. So that's where the opportunity is.
So are you seeing a change then? Because if you look at the last 20, 30 years, from a leisure perspective, especially from a resort perspective as an example, we've been pushing this all-inclusive concept. The all-inclusive is basically you book for 10 nights, the first 3 nights you just drink as much as you can, and then you detox the remaining, etc., and you eat as... But are you seeing that changing as well from your side in terms of what he's mentioning, like people are very conscious about their health, right?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up, Tony. So, of course, we have a large portfolio of all-inclusive brands, obviously based on the Rixos model, the Turkish brand that's been working beautifully for the past 20 years. And we have almost 6,000 keys in Egypt from the Rixos collection and some Swiss hotel keys over there as well. And we've noticed a significant change in how that all-inclusive market has developed. And coming back to your point, Tony, regarding wellness. So of course, the average length of stay in an all-inclusive is any times between 8 to 15 days, depending on the location that you are. And I want to change the perception a little bit. Of course, they drink and they like to eat, but wellness for them starts at a step before check-in. Right? They want to know what facilities they have. They want to know how many restaurants they're going to be welcome to, because over a period of 12 to 15 days, I want to be able to feel different flavors and have vegetarian, vegan, diet-friendly options, even in my all-inclusive for the value for money. And I also want to be able to see what kind of wellness experiences I'm able to enjoy in my stay. So that's already pre-given to them. But wellness starts when there is data, which is something that you collect per guest to see what is their curated program for wellness. So we have, for example, 7 pillars in all-inclusive. And one of the main ones is wellness, F&B, and entertainment, because you have to entertain these guests every night as part of their experience during the all-inclusive stay. And we have programs that are specific for children, for teenagers, for young adults, for adults, and for grandparents around F&B and around wellness and around fitness, because not everyone is eating and drinking at the same capacity as your typical all-inclusive traveler. And also, the all-inclusive brands that we work with are today specifically in the premium and luxury segment. So we need to have the right wellness offering. It starts at 6 a.m. with yoga at the deck, watching the sun come up. And it goes all the way down. And there's a wellness director in each hotel programming for each of these, the students, the young adults, the grandparents, a wellness offering that is compatible to their age.
Yeah.
And this is great data that we could get from, for example, your technology, that you have showcased outside.
And you raise a really good point, because it's on both ends. On your boomers and Gen X, you've actually got now this healthy longevity, health span. Like you can start to add on, maybe functional medicine practices, deeper assessments, like the kiosk that we've got there, where you can really assess and take people on a meaningful wellness journey. But then you've got tech platforms that really help to support, like your Gen Z, your millennials, that really want to connect, have like their external environments come there. So you do an outdoor run, it works on your treadmill. So there's this connectivity and there's this seamless integration with their lifestyles. But the important thing that what we are seeing is that it really, really makes a big difference to rands and cents.
Yep.
So average daily rates, much higher. You're seeing that in terms of like RevPAR, hotels that have significant wellness offerings will have up to 75% more. A lot of it's also in local tourism. So the local spend on wellness travelers will spend up to 150% more than normal people. And then your international guys will spend 40%, because they're traveling and they'll add the wellness. But then you will see another one, and you mentioned it there, is that the TRevPAR, which is the total, wellness, so not just the room. So
the total revenue.
The total revenue. So as soon as you
room.
start to offer it, wellness does it, it actually doubles in many of the hotels that have more. So it's a way of leveraging incredible more value, rands and cents, or dollars and cents, should we say, but also it creates much bigger rates of return visits, of loyalty, and spend. So it's all the hotels that are growing. Wellness tourism is growing at 16.8% compound annual growth rate over the next few years, which is far outstrips the economy. So it's a great way for the business to really start to say, build your muscle memory, build some competence in it. It's not just spas, it's not just fitness centers, it's not just yoga things. It's a holistic approach, it's a lens, and it's intentional.
But are you seeing that, for example, when you're sort of pitching, obviously you've been in the game for many, many years, 2 decades, etc. Are you seeing this today a very easy pitch to hoteliers? People get it?
So much has changed. Like the digitalization, the people are accepting, there's a big pull from the market. So, markets evolve. And what we're seeing now is that the person wants to be personalized, they want to be holistically treated, and they want it to be authentic. If you are vegan, it can't be the one choice at the end of the buffet. 100%. It needs to be a dedicated vegan experience. If you're looking for fitness, it's not just like that treadmill in the back of the room. Oh, we have a gym. It's actually, how does this integrate from the moment you arrive? I just stayed at the Ciro Hotel in Dubai. It's a 2,000 square meter facility. They've got 500 members external paying, like $2,000, $1,000 to belong there, $500. But it's a La Prairie like longevity clinic, it's the vitamin bars, it's the cold plunge, it's sauna. The whole hotel, basically even in your room, there's a projector that plays our content actually, because it's all Technogym, onto the wall, but you've got your yoga mat, everything's in there, a Swedish wall bar in the room. Every single thing about the hotel, from the moment you arrive in the reception, people are wearing gym clothes. You know, it's a fitness hotel. And everybody I've shown who loves fitness will go there because of it. But it's just a different approach. You don't think it as an amenity. It is the reason for being. And like I say, you can blend it into many different types of opportunities, but people do live health these days.
Which is interesting. I mean, we're sitting in South Africa, which is a very sort of fit society in a way. I mean, very sports, you know, especially Cape Town, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully we should be seeing one of these hotels replicating or maybe customizing.
Well, I mean, Tira apparently wants to open 100 of them. They've just opened one in Moldova now. So I think Moldova, the next one. But amazing. Are we done?
I think she stood up, so must be because we've actually gone way above time. But I could leave these two to talk, by the way. Yesterday they spoke around an hour non-stop, but I think there are far more. But I think the key takeaway here is the expansion strategy of Ennismore, customization, founder-led. It's about the soul, and then as you've mentioned, it's no more the ugly equipment in the basement.
The box tick, yeah.
Right? It's more than that, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if there are any questions, but I don't think we'll have time for questions.
No, we don't. But I find it so interesting because this morning I was at the gym. I know a couple of people we ran in at the gym. And so I struggled with my thyroid and I got up to 80 kilograms. I've gone down to 65 now, which is really great, but it means I need to keep doing it wherever I go. But some of the positions that I have to do, I'm not really comfortable doing it in an intimate gym, so I have to do it in my bedroom, which is not conducive in some hotel rooms. So I think I love what you're saying. A round of applause, please, to our panel.
Come scan our app. He'll give you all the programming. Thank you.